It's the Al Travis Show, but we've got him. Jerry Groskreutz, our farmer extraordinaire, in here talking our holiday edition. How are you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing really well, Al.
Merry Christmas to you and yours.
And same to you and all of our listeners. And let's just say everybody's so busy. Just take a few minutes to relax and enjoy Christmas with your family and your friends.
Absolutely correct. Let's talk a little bit about it. What's your family traditions? You have traditions that you have to do every year? What would be a Jerry Groskreutz family tradition?
Well, we go over to our daughters for Christmas Eve. And then since we moved up to Lakeville, we've got about 3 neighbors that were kids off doing other things. They get together at another time. So we get together for a Christmas brunch late morning. And this year they're coming to our house.
Oh, fun. And is this your guys' jam? Is this what you do, Jerry? My wife, I love Christmas, but my wife takes care of all that. I mean, the house, Santa Claus threw up all over my house. There's glitter, it's just everything. But I don't have to do it, so I love it. What's your house like then when people are coming over for the holiday?
Well, I get busy and I help decorate.
You do?
Yep, and I've always helped vacuum and load the dishwasher and stuff because Louise was working a lot of hours as I was, so it's kind of all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Although maybe this was by design. I don't usually do the laundry, though. Going back about 45 years, hot water and color, so she kind of takes care of that.
I remember those days. Yeah, you got to mess that up pretty good to make sure you're off that list forever. What other traditions? Food? Is there something you generally have every year? Is it anything like that?
Oh, of course. Louise's cheesy potatoes.
Oh, I love cheesy potatoes.
Oh, yeah. She got the recipe years ago. I'm not sure where, but she's famous for it. So that's for the Christmas Day brunch, and then late afternoon we go over to daughter Laura's again.
Yeah.
So she brings some over there too. I think that's the pass that we have to, to get in. We have to have her cheesy potato.
I love that. I love that idea a ton. And then how do you do presents? Is the Jerry household more is better? Just got to wrap everything up and make it just a huge pile? Is it try to find one special thing? What's your style when it comes to gifts?
We don't get too carried away with. We get 1 or 2 little things, and that's about it. Because maybe we've been fortunate over all these years, but if you really needed something, we had it. Yeah, when the kids were still in college. One year we drove down to Las Vegas over Christmas break. Another year we drove to Orlando over Christmas break. That was kind of funny. Driving across Nebraska, you're thinking, boy, it sure would be nice to have a curve in the road or a hill to break up the monotony. Mile after mile of fields with center pivot irrigation systems lined up. Then you start getting close to Denver and you find out there's no such thing after that of a straight flat road.
That's so funny. I went to Milwaukee for a wedding here just last weekend, and I literally get on 990 a mile from my house, take a right, and I didn't turn again until we got into the parking lot of the church. I mean, it was just, I don't mind driving, but good God, I'd like to turn the steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? Just give me something to pretend I'm still awake. That was a long drive.
I have a perfect solution for you, Al.
What's that?
Daughter Laura's Corsair Lincoln has a hands-free guidance system. When you get on the interstate, you just let go. I usually don't let go, though, because I'm an old-fashioned guy.
Jerry, I'm with you. I'm not quite your age yet, but I'm there. There is no way. Did you see that story like last week where the Waymo cars or whatever in some city, they had blackouts, so the stop-and-go lights weren't working, so the cars just stopped and waited? Yeah. And that was a good cause. What happened to the car said, okay, I'm just going to... No, I can't do that. I could not. Are you going to ever ride in a self-driving car?
No. Or how about the one that drove through the police scene that was restricted?
Yeah.
And you can talk all you want about before very long, my combine's going to be out in the field all by itself, or my tractor. Now, granted, maybe you can monitor it with your laptop sitting in your computer or in your office. Part of the reason I do what I do is because I like being out in the field.
Well, and you talk about that lane assist thing.
Yeah.
You ever driven one of those where it kind of jiggles the wheel if you go over to the right or to the left? Or I can't stand that. That drives me crazy because sometimes I don't want to hit that pile of dead animal on the road, so I shift over a little bit. I don't know. Need you telling me it. It took me a long time to get used to those rumble strips.
Yeah.
You know, when they first started putting those on, I'm like, if you need that, you're an idiot. Well, now I like to just run over them to scare my wife when I'm driving, but that's just me.
Or how about this? Laura's car, it reads things too. So you'll be going along, you have the cruise set, and all at once we'll see County Highway 80, and it starts speeding up because it thinks now the speed
Hey, yeah, see that there's so much they got to fix here. That's funny though. So my wife and I went to Milwaukee, and you put the I don't know what the map quest thingy on, right? And it gets you onto the road, and then all of a sudden it tells you where cops are.
Yeah,
There's a cop up there, and then it wants to know if you want to squeal on the cops. Are they still there? Or are they not still there? And my wife, she's just playing that like a video. Oh, we got him. Said, whose side are you on? I mean, really, it's just a video game for them. But I think that should possibly even be illegal. Google is piling information for the speed traps. It's kind of funny.
Well, we were driving to Branson here a couple weeks ago, and we were just using the cell phone because the Mustang doesn't even have the fancy camera in there. And their cell phone starts saying, police.
Yep.
And I go, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm not sure this is really legal.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fancy radar gun from back in our day, or a CB radio. All right, we've got to go to break, Jerry. I'm glad we're talking a lot of farming stuff. We got to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk some farming stuff. I've got him, Jerry Groskreutz, our farmer extraordinaire on the Al Travis Show. It's the Al Travis Show, and we've got him, Jerry Groskreutz, in talking all things farming. Jerry, this is going to be so touchy. I don't even know if you want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, but I think there's something to it. New York Times, great ag paper. Yeah. The Agricultural Department, this is the story, lost nearly 1/5 of its workforce in the first half of the year, according to a watchdog group. From January to June, more than 20,000 employees left the agency, the Agricultural Department, out of more than 110,000 people. But 15,000, some of those were voluntary resignation. They offered them, you want to leave? And they said, you bet. Oh, this is the part you're going to get mad at me. Did you notice anything really that changed in your world? I mean, they closed the government down for a while. That was something. But my point is, we have computers now. Maybe you can run the Department of Agriculture with less humans. Is that crazy? Where are you at on all this?
Oh, boy, this is painful. But that's the first thing that I thought of, Al, because you look at what computers have done in terms of in our world in radio or out at the farm. You can monitor and do so much more. So the first impulse was, boy, how are they going to get this information out? And then I thought, how much faster we all can get things done because of the computers that we have. Yeah. So maybe they'll be just as good or better. We'll find out. Unfortunately, good or bad, we're going to find out.
Well, and that's kind of that was where I go to this. The government is this weird thing that it takes people to do stuff when in every other line of work, i.e. with your phone, maybe there's going to come a time when Jerry gets done harvesting and he puts in grains per acre, and then the computer will add them all up in some area and just spit it out, and the government doesn't have to do a forecast every 4 months. Guess what? We know exactly what came in this month. Jerry put it on his app.
Guess what, Al? That's already here.
Well, then what do we need 110,000 people for at the Ag Department?
There is we can already do that with our crop insurance. That's administered by the USDA Risk Management Agency, and then our local agents we work with, and we purchase their crop insurance. And from combine monitors, you can hook that right up, and it reports everything to your crop insurance agent. Your yield every year, every acre, every bushel, it can all show up. So
maybe this is just too big. What is the Agriculture Department doing? The 110,000 of them that were there a year ago. What is it they're actually compiling or doing? They're helping you fill out paperwork, I presume, to get rebates. I mean, what is it that they actually do for you, Jerry, on down on the ground?
Well, when you look at our local FSA offices, you heard about the continuing resolution, the disaster bill.
Yep.
That is incredibly complicated.
Okay.
And so we depend on the local staff to help us get signed up, and they do their training and they get it all
Yeah.
down so that they can explain it to us. So a lot of that stuff is pretty complicated. The frustrating part about it is it has to be so complicated, Al, because of the 1 or 2% that want to defraud.
Yeah. Oh,
That's the
that's true.
whole, 95% of us are just trying to do it right. And the same thing, wouldn't need a fraction of the laws either that we have, except for the small percentage that want to do something that isn't right. And I suspect that's how
Yeah.
they have to write the farm bill and all those farm programs. And it takes
Yeah.
people to interpret it. So the local FSA offices in all the counties, boy,
That's
we
needed.
really depend on them. Now, what the others do in Washington, D.C., or, in Kansas City, some of the USDA has moved to Kansas City. And
Hmm.
then the other thing is the National Ag Statistics, that's part of the USDA that does all the surveys and all that sort of thing. Well, the USDA is a big believer in tradition. We've always done it this way, so that's how we're going to continue
That's
to do it, because then our data is comparable because we always
yeah.
do it the same way. Well,
Yeah.
I've
But
often
times
thought,
change.
yeah, times have changed. Maybe we should do it a different way to get more accurate or better data. But that's just
That's
me
just
thinking.
There you go, Jerry. You keep thinking. You're a thinker. Let me ask you this though. What is it like this time of year on the markets? Obviously everything's in. It's going to be in. Does it slow down? Is Christmas between Christmas and New Year's just a wait and see time, or are the markets actually pretty volatile this time of year?
Typically, the last 2, 3, 4 years, it's been kind of a good time. We've had some small rallies right during
Oh,
Christmas into New Year's,
all
and
right.
we started out earlier this week. Al, we've been, not a big rally, but we've been kind of working our way higher, and we're all watching the markets because it's there's a lot of financial stress out in the farms, and it's amazing what
Yeah.
a nice rally in corn and soybeans. Not so much of soybeans because a lot of us have sold most of our beans, but there's a lot of corn in storage that's still on price.
Okay.
And, a rally sure would
Make
improve
Christmas.
things quite a bit.
I gotcha. Oh yeah, the only other story I saw is about cattle, and this was in Brownfield. An economist was saying that he's seeing at least some herd expansion could be underway in the U.S. Sir, went out and looked at a rack of ribs and decided I could not afford them because I didn't want to sell my car to get a rack. How is it when the cattle people aren't expanding? Why in God's green earth, the numbers like this, you're not taking every cow you possibly can and getting it to market? What am I missing? They think it's going to go higher?
Well, the reason it's such a long process because a lot of the cattle out in the ranches,
Mm.
they're overwintering and then they have their calves in the spring.
Yep.
And now you got a heifer, you got a bull. Well, if you have a heifer, you could decide to feed that out as a steer, and in 9 months or so, 12
Yeah.
months maybe, it's worth huge bucks because you fed it all the cheap grass and the cheap
Yeah.
grain. Or you can decide to raise that heifer calf. So now you're going to feed it for about 10, 11, 12 months. Then you're going to breed it and you're going to wait another 9 months for that heifer to
They
have its
come
first
down.
calf. You see, there's a long process involved there versus, boy, making some big bucks on it right away. So cattlemen kind of have an incentive to not expand, but continue just to
The
fill.
slow, the
Yeah.
slow process. Well, I guess I get that. The problem being is that maybe they can make as much with half the herd if the price is going to be like that. If people are going to pay those kind of prices, they get used to it. Maybe we just, they're used to it. The difference is the hogs. You look at pork prices are up a little bit. In my store, it's the holiday season. Okay, but okay, I got it. But pork is cheap.
And so is poultry.
Yeah.
And so the market is eventually going to work its way out that, boy, and we did that once. I apologize to my dairy and cattlemen, but you take pork sausage and put it in a hot dish like hamburger, and
Oh,
it tastes pretty good. So
I
you're gonna,
love
the
pork sausage.
consumers
Yeah.
are gonna have their say in this, and things will even out. And let's face it, Al, there's not enough beef in the world that you could import it to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you're like your old friend, the New World screw worm that's kept some of the cattle from
getting here,
Mexico coming in, but that's not enough to make a huge difference. It would make a difference, but not a huge difference. We're just going to have high beef prices for a while because 2 and 3 years ago they had a bad drought and times were tough for cattlemen, and they liquidated their cattle because they couldn't afford to buy the feed. And here we are, a couple, 3, 4 years later, and it's going to be with us for a while.
All right. Jerry, I'm sorry I got to fly. We're out of time, but I love having you on the show. You and yours a very Merry Christmas, my friend. I appreciate you a ton. I'm glad you're here for it.
And don't forget to get a gift for your computer. It deserves it.
That is correct. Jerry Groskreutz on the Al Travis Show.